I was on a plane landing in Perm, a million people city in the Ural region of Russia. I was deeply immersed in my own thoughts. A number of deep questions occupied my mind. Did I become spiritually lost after moving away from my homeland many years ago? Does the danger of nuclear power plants really outweigh the benefit of the clean energies they provide? Should we really spend so much money and attention on the space exploration when we don't even know what's happening in the deep sea? And most importantly, can I consider myself a real programmer if all I seem to do is installing and linking together a spaghetti of Ruby gems? While waiting for Leo to finish the design of Transcripto, I focused on writing most of the backend code. Even without the final design, I can implement most of the features with some simple front-end implementation. I've started by adding the registration to the website. Future Transcripto customers need to be able to create an account and access their own transcriptions securely. I never had to implement sign up and login myself, same as I did for any other application I wrote. I just took the device gem, the most popular authentication solution for Rails applications. Most of the coding consisted of copy and pasting a number of commands from the documentation. One command to install device, another command to generate everything related to the user model. Sometimes I think that all I do professionally is copying and adjusting commands from the documentation. I moved everything that needs a user account to a new dashboard namespace and protected it with a before action authenticate user line. This would tell Rails to allow only logged in customers to access the dashboard. I had to write some custom code to set up a relation between transcriptions and users. It's hardly a serious coding assignment. I simply used the features Rails provides, and the actual tables association was handled by the framework. Naturally, there was a need to do some minor adjustments to the templates to change the links and forms to take the current user into the account. After roughly an hour, I had a complete authentication implemented with per-user transcriptions management. Next on my list, adding a simple admin interface. We would need some kind of simple data management dashboard to provide customer support in case there are any issues. Once again, I just took an existing gem, ran a few commands from the GitHub README, and voila, ready to use admin UI was at my disposal. It took around 6 minutes and felt like installing a WordPress plugin for a photo gallery. To properly calculate the transcription price, I need to know the duration of the uploaded audio file. Active Storage has a concept of analyzers, special classes that perform analysis of the file and save the result to the database. I was about to start writing my very own analyzer, but then I found an existing one. That existing one simply wrapped the FFmpg binary and parsed the output of it. Upset by another lost coding opportunity, I quickly integrated the gem into my source code and moved on to adding the state machine. Transcription has different states. It goes through the process of being uploaded, analyzed, paid for, and transcribed, till it finally is finished. There is the need for transitions between the states, with some events happening during those transitions. We want to start transcribing the file when user has paid, and we want to send an email when transcript is ready. I remember learning state machines in the university. We used to draw different schemas and learn about various types of state machines. It's one of those topics where you can say that you truly applied the computer science. Was that the moment for my unfinished higher education to shine? Obviously not. As before, I took an existing gem called AASM, short for Acts as State Machine. It provides a nice DSL to describe the states that active record object goes through, as well as describing the events that should happen during transitions. I've added few simple methods for those events, and then hooked them to transitions. Not a single second my brain was busy thinking about the automata theory, half the code I copied from my other projects, and half could be implemented even by my dog. Talking about my dog, let's have a short break and look at him. Alright, back to work, we have emails to send. User needs to be notified when the transcript is ready. To implement this feature, I didn't have to install any additional gems. Rails covers the complete email sending functionality end to end. I first need to create a new mailer that defines which emails can be sent and what's the content of those emails. Then I need to trigger sending this mailer from inside my state machine. And that's about it, sending emails, done. At this moment, the imposter syndrome started to kick in. Am I a good programmer? It seems that every relatively complex problem I had was already solved by an existing open source library. I am constructing my application from a set of ready-to-use building blocks without putting much thought into how those blocks work. Would I be able to implement all of this from scratch and in a reasonable time? And should I be able to do all of that? Slowly getting disappointed in my apparent lack of the programming genius, I was about to start googling some lumberjack courses so that I can do a career switch and never think about programming again. At this exact moment, I got a message from Leo that the design of Transcripto is ready. Finally, a distraction I craved for. My gloomy thoughts, the ones that every good programmer has every now and then, completely vanished. I had something else to occupy my mind. The thought about how deeply I hate doing the front-end work. This was the first time Leo sent me the design in Figma. In theory, this was supposed to make my life easier. Looking at the pages he prepared, it seemed like he has used a bootstrap grid, meaning that it should not take much effort to implement it with the CSS. In Figma, I can quickly check any colors and sizes of any element, which is quite handy. What is not handy is the whole user interface of Figma. For example, here I am desperately trying to find a way to copy the color code. It seemed at first that I can even copy some of the CSS from Figma into the project, but it appeared that CSS Figma provides is even worse than the one that I can write myself. It gives lots of auto-generated styles that have no chance to result in a responsive, easy-to-maintain style sheets. At that moment, I lost any hope to quickly get rid of this front-end development assignment. I put on some relaxing music and transformed myself into a designed to CSS machine. I felt pretty good about myself. In the matter of a couple of hours, Transcripto started looking more and more like a professional web application. I hoped to finish everything in another 1 or 2 hours, but then something happened, something that I was afraid of. Do you remember how Leo said in the previous episode that he took my feedback and simplified the design?
I just talked to Kirill. He looked through the design and he's not very happy. Mainly because I almost completely ignored his request that I talked.
Well, you won't believe this, but the guy never asked me about anything and faked the whole reality TV part of the episode, just like the creators of any other reality TV show. What actually happened is that he just dropped on me this design, including this gradient right here with the dots. You see, quite often what seems like a really simple little thing to the designer becomes a real nightmare of the developer. Oh boy, did I hate implementing this block. For your entertainment, here's the time-lapse of yours truly, struggling with blue dots on top of the blue background. After suffering through this part, I could carry on in a less irritated fashion. On this first session, I managed to finish the landing page, the grid that would allow me to easily arrange any future pages, and the set of standard elements like colors, buttons, and so on. Next time I work on the code, I can just use all of the CSS to implement new features, and provide a nice looking frontend for them at the same time. But for now, I had enough of the CSS and HTML for the day. I had to do something more meaningful, something more fulfilling, something that would make me feel good about myself. So I went to the nearby forest and threw some sticks.